Now, while I have a captive audience, I want to take 1 minute to bring you up to date on our latest poetry initiative, which we call Poetry in Voice, or Les Voix de la Poésie. This is a bilingual high school competition where the students have to memorize and recite poetry by memory in front of judges and a live audience. It's fantastic. And last year, we had 12 high schools competing from Ontario. This year, we had 40 high schools competing from Ontario and Quebec. And next year, we're going across Canada, and we anticipate over 100 schools competing. The winner this year was Alexander Gagliano, who is here with his family, and he's agreed to recite a poem.
Journey of the Magi by T.S. Eliot. A cold coming we had of it, just the worst time of the year for a journey, and such a long journey, the ways deep and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter. And the camels galled, sore-footed, refractory, lying down the melting snow. There were times we regretted the summer palaces on slopes, the terraces, and the silken girls bringing sherbet. Then the camelmen cursing and grumbling and running away and wanting their liquor and women, and the night fires going out and the lack of shelters, and the cities hostile and the towns unfriendly and the villages dirty and charging high prices. A hard time we had of it. At the end, we preferred to travel all night, sleeping in snatches, with the voices singing in our ears, saying that this was all folly. Then at dawn, we came down to a temperate valley, wet below the snow line, smelling of vegetation, with a running stream, and a watermill beating the darkness, and 3 trees on the low sky, and an old white horse galloped away in the meadow. Then we came to a tavern with vine leaves over the lintel, 6 hands at an open door dicing for pieces of silver, and feet kicking the empty wineskins. But there was no information. And so we continued and arrived at evening, not a moment too soon finding the place. It was, you may say, satisfactory. All this was a long time ago, I remember, and I would do it again, but set down this. Set down this. Were we led all that way for birth or death? There was a birth, certainly. We had evidence, no doubt. I had seen birth and death, but had thought they were different. This birth was hard, bitter agony for us, like death. Our death. We returned to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old dispensation with an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death. Thank you.